Dear friends, I imagine that we're all familiar with the image of someone who has a bright idea or reaches an understanding of something, and this is then shown by a light bulb going on above their head. Have you ever wondered how that idea was conveyed before light bulbs were invented? This idea of coming into the light, of suddenly being able to see, is of course an ancient one, and Christianity is full of this language, not least because we see Jesus as the light of the world. And as we come closer to Jesus and experience his light, so too do we become enlightened. So too do we come to see. In his light, we see light. What's good about the light bulb image, though, is the way in which it marks something sudden. It's not an image of dawn sunlight slowly illuminating more and more. No, it's a sudden switch. I was blind, but now I see. And this is important because once you can see, you move differently. You move with confidence and assurance, and you move much more effectively because you can see where the obstacles are. You don't bang your shins on a misplaced chair or impale a bare foot upon a piece of Lego. And this is Pentecost. Pentecost is when the disciples have their light bulb moment. Suddenly it all makes sense. Suddenly they get what Jesus was on about all the time, why he had to live in the way that he did, why he had to die in the way that he did, what the resurrection means for the life of the community, and so on. And the consequences were life-changing. Where once the disciples were confused and dismayed, now they become apostles, filled with so much confidence and self-belief that they convert the known world to the story of the crucified one. This confidence and assurance and self-belief is the gift of the Spirit. Now, I've been using the image of a sudden switch, like the light bulb going on or off, and that can genuinely be, sometimes, how the Spirit works in people. Some people just experience an epiphany, one particular moment when the penny drops, and they get it, and life is never the same again. However, for others, for most, in my experience, the light bulb moment is in fact much more like the arrival of the dawn, with a slowly increasing amount of light. Slowly the light reveals more and more about who we are and how we live and God's claim upon our lives, and slowly we experience the redemption of God. That is how the Spirit works, and it looks like forgiveness. Remember, the enemy is an accuser, the one that points the finger, whilst the Spirit is the comforter, the defense counsel. God defends us, so we don't have to defend ourselves. And as that awareness of not needing to be defensive starts to sink into our awareness, so then the fruits of the Spirit start to emerge. Love, joy, peace, gentleness, self-control. All these things flow from a place of undefended life. When we try to defend ourselves from accusations, then stresses and strains emerge. We are guarded and fearful, and we cannot be fruitful. The more we recognize that if God is for us, then who can be against us, the more we are able to act as Christ in the world. When we know ourselves to be forgiven, then we are able to share that forgiveness with others. We can let go of our need to judge other people for their misdemeanors. We can love our enemies. We might even be able to pray for those who persecute us. And those are the things that Jesus told us to do, and which he told his apostles to teach to the church. And this is what drives the festival of Pentecost, a sudden outbreak of joy as the penny drops, and the disciples realize that God is on their side, that death is not the end, and they no longer have any need to be afraid. May we receive that same Spirit ourselves, whether as a sudden light bulb moment, or as a gradual dawning of the sun over the whole of our lives, so that we too can be filled with the light and joy and peace that comes from recognizing our position as God's beloved children. May it come soon, for the creation groans with eager longing for the glorious liberty of the children of God. Amen.